everybody, it's me, Jessica, your Health Fitness Program Manager from McLean, and in just about 3 minutes we're going to start our Friday Yin Yoga practice. Today's practice is all about opening up the hips a little through the low back or sides, getting some upper back space, and as such also opening the heart. I recommend having a block or maybe a pillow, especially if you notice that your hamstrings at the back of your legs are really tight. Please take these next 3 minutes to just find any sort of stretches or breath or movement that feels good for you so you can prepare yourself for the stillness that's coming up. Think about making your space smell nice, maybe dimming the lights, making sure that you're wearing some comfortable clothing so that as we come into our asanas or postures for the day, you can be as still physically and mentally as possible and just enjoy some deep stretches. All right. Doing this hip opening yoga for emotional release. Have some water nearby just in case you need it. There won't be any specific water breaks during this class. Always good to have some water nearby though. Some beautiful avocados in my fridge, and I was just thinking how great they would be with the tortilla chips I don't have, and also how I should not go get tortilla chips, and how I'm proud of myself for not getting tortilla chips while at MITRE. Is anyone else struggling to stay on track with all of the amazing free food opportunities at work right now? Oh my gosh, there's so many. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. I was gonna have us start in deer pose, but you know what? Let's get started in Sukhasana because we're worth it. So I'm just coming into an easy seated posture that works for you. I'm going to come into a nice gentle cross-legged position because I find this to be really comfortable. If you came into a cross-legged position of any sort, your knees are coming all the way up towards your shoulders, think about using your prop, be it a block or a pillow. Simply sitting up just a little bit will help you to take those knees from all the way up here, maybe to here or here, or all the way open down below. Oh, I suddenly feel that bike I rode yesterday. All right, so we'll take 2 more minutes right here, just relaxing into your breath, into your mind space. Do a scan of your body before we even get started and notice how you're feeling today. Where is your tension? Is there tension? Just take note. Breathe through it. One of the biggest challenges of today's practice is going to be to come into your stillness and to be a little uncomfortable. So frequently when we're uncomfortable, we quickly look for ways to make ourselves feel better. We're going to move away from that a little bit in today's class. You're going to find ways that you can make yourself feel better to get through the stressful situation by tuning back into your breath and noticing how much that breath really can relax you. So please remember to include in your stillness your eyes. If your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. Consider even closing your eyes and being as in tune with yourself, with each breath, with this moment as you possibly can. All right, we're gonna get started in deer pose. So if you're up on a prop, we're gonna come off of our prop. You can keep one leg folded in. We're gonna take the opposite leg, your choice, whichever you'd like to start with, and bring it back behind you. And it's also your choice how much you want to bring it back behind you. You can have both of your legs in a 90-90 position. This is putting a lot of love and attention into the hip. I'm gonna give you an option for this first couple minutes here to actually be a little bit more active. So give yourself a little massage here. Oof, a little self-myofascial release. Just notice how your body's feeling. We're gonna spend 2 more minutes right here in some sort of an active massage, optional deer pose. You can have, remember, those legs at 90-90. If this is a little too much on your hip, you can bring the stretch more towards your quad, the top of your thigh, by bringing your heel and the sole of the foot closer towards your glute. Remember, both sides of the body are not the same. So whatever you do on this side doesn't mean you have to do the same thing on the other side. Just because you do something today doesn't mean you have to do it tomorrow. Doesn't mean it was the same thing your body needed, wanted, or could produce yesterday. So just be so proud of what, ooh, it feels so good, of whatever it is that you can bring to your body today. Just giving yourself a little bit of love right now. When is the last time that you did this for yourself? I can't even remember the last time that I actively gave a little squeezy massage love to my thigh. All right, you got just about 30 seconds left, and then we're gonna come into we're in deer pose, Jessica. We're gonna come into sleeping swan. So whichever leg you have towards the back is the leg that we're going to extend behind us and come on down to our sleeping swan. So take a couple more breaths right here. And then get ready for 3 minutes of stillness. Take your time, come to that sleeping swan. Your front leg can either be, your heel can be close towards your hip, or maybe it's a little closer towards your chest. Make sure that your extended back leg, that you have that hip flexor closer towards the floor. So your front bent knee, that glute should be lifted up off of the floor. If you're feeling really uncomfortable, if this feels challenging, bring your block or your pillow underneath of your chest to give you a little bit more support, or maybe you lift yourself up a little bit higher. Find the sleeping or relaxed swan that works for you, and start your total body scan from head to toe. Relax your forehead and your shoulders. Really tune in if you're squeezing your eyes super tight or creating any tension in your jaw, in your hands. We're working on creating the stretch in the lower half of our body, particularly through those hips, through those glutes, even in that lower back. So relax your upper body, relax your toes. You got 2 minutes left right here. great. Begin to lift yourself up. Your beautiful swan. Go ahead, bring some weight onto your front legs glute. We're going to take that back leg back in, and we're going to come into Sukhasana again, into that easy seated position of your choice. We're going to take 1 minute of stillness right here. So moving with that intention, but working to come into this minute of stillness as quickly as possible without creating distractions for yourself or making excuses. Wow, Fred really went to town on those peanuts today. You know what I'm saying? All right, just a couple breaths left here. And on that exhale, start to come into deer pose on the opposite side. So this time bringing the opposite leg behind you. Remember, you can be in two 90-90s. You can take a little tension out of the exterior glute by folding that leg in a little closer, bringing it more into a quad stretch. We've got just a couple minutes right here. Give yourself the best massage you've had on this side of your leg all day, I hope. Speaking of, massage services are back on campus. I bet you can fast jump massage or check out the health services page. Wow. To find out more, I know in McLean, Araceli is back on Wednesdays and Fridays. This past Wednesday, she was already booked to the brim. So think about treating yourself. The self-massage is amazing, but it's definitely not the same as someone else who really is a master. But for now, we got this, and that's something special. So get that fidgeting out. Still really be working towards clearing your mind, though. If you are having otherworldly thoughts creeping in, besides this right here, right now, come back to your breath. Count the length of your inhale and exhale, just to stay present. We got 1 minute left right here before we come into our sleeping swan, the opposite side. Remember, no judgment, no expectations. Just enjoying what your body can do today. Coming into a stretch that you notice and hanging out in the stretch for a little longer than you might be used to. And doing so might create some shaking, some vibration, some tremors, some emotions might bubble up. As long as you're not really feeling pain, do your best to breathe through it. And if you need to gently work your way out of a posture, because you're being smart for your body today, you know your body best. So you don't have to be a hero. Don't hang out in something that's really feeling very uncomfortable or painful. But challenge yourself to find where the stillness does work for you today. And breathe through it. All right, take your time. Let's come on into this sleeping swan or pigeon. Walk, wiggle, however you need to get that back leg back. Remember, you can use a block underneath of your chest. You are working to find that opening in the lower half of your body. Not having your front leg glute on the floor. Just breathe. A little over 2 minutes left right here. On your next exhale, carefully press yourself back up. Bring the weight onto your glutes again. Come into your Sukhasana, your easy seated position. One more minute. Maybe there's a little bit more length through the crown of your head. Maybe you find it easier to relax those knees closer towards the floor, and that you've already started to open up your hips gently through the lower back and side body. All right, so next up we're going to come into dragon. Oh, so let's start by coming into tabletop. Make your way into tabletop. Give yourself a cat-cow in each direction. If that feels right for you. We're going to get this great hip opener. 3 minutes on each side. Bring forward whichever leg you would like to start with. And it is your choice how much of a hip opener you create here. You can hang out still pretty square with your hands on the floor. A little pressure of the front heel in the floor and still feel a big opening of your hip. Or you can walk that foot out even more and start to bring a stretch into your back leg quad. It's going to bring a little bit more pressure into your shoulders. Maybe you lift yourself up into your dragon. Just make sure that your knee doesn't go past your toe. Whichever one of these hip opening options that you went for, hang out, find that stillness for 2 more minutes. Remember, if the floor feels really far away, you can always place your hands on a block. Use any props that are around you. Creating a noticeable stretch doesn't mean that it has to be painful. It's just noticeable. Just under a minute left right here. Start that total body scan from the crown of your head. Find some extra relaxation in your jaw, in your neck, in your shoulders. Carefully release yourself out of whatever depth of hip opener you went for today. So bring those knees side by side. Give yourself another option of cat-cow. In each direction, maybe a little side to side. And as you're ready, let's step ourselves into our hip opener on the other side. So once again, maybe you just bring that leg forward and keep your hands down on the floor with your shoulder in line with your knee. Still knees not going past the toe. Or maybe you walk that foot out a little bit further. Create a little opening of the opposite hip a little deeper, a little stretch into the quad and glute. Find what works for you. Just create a noticeable stretch. Doesn't have to be the same every day. And come right into that total body scan on this second side. Ask yourself how you can relax. Feel free to grab a prop quickly if that's going to help. Just about at that halfway point right here. Keep that breath slow and steady, making sure you haven't come into a stretch that's so deep that your breath is affected. Take about 2 or 3 more here. And then as you're ready, bringing your leg back into tabletop. One more time, giving yourself a cat-cow in each and every direction that feels right for you. Open your knees as wide as feels right for you. Coming up next is child's pose. We're going to spend a delightful 4 minutes here in this child's pose. You can walk your arms as far forward as you want to. You might find that you like using a block underneath of your head. Sometimes in a longer child's pose, the draining with your head below your heart can feel like a lot. Maybe that's the feeling that you're going for right now. I know I like a little block action. You can walk your hands super far forward and get more of a stretch through your shoulders and lats. You can take a generous bend of your elbows and relax your upper body a little bit more. Find the stretch that feels right for you. couple of breaths right here. And then we're going to pull ourselves forward into Sphinx pose. Take your time carefully. Oh, sorry, we're coming into puppy pose. So instead of coming into Sphinx pose, lift your hips up. Work to stack your hips on top of your knees and bring that chest closer towards the floor. If your shoulders are really tight, your chest is probably going to have a hard time coming towards the floor. You might want to place a block underneath of your chest. So I tuck my shirt in like a winner. You can always also open your arms a little bit wider. And if you need to, your hips go gently back towards those heels a little bit more. If you're feeling really nice and open, stretch your chin forward. Just breathe it out. 2 minutes left right here. If this posture goes from being a big noticeable stretch, remember, going from being awkward or uncomfortable into being painful is a reason to come out of the stretch. Also, if your breath is labored, work to relax your chest towards the mat as much as possible. Last 2 breaths here, and then we will pull forward into Sphinx. So take your time. Take a bend of those elbows. Wow. Carefully, with intention, release that belly down to the floor. Oh, you might even need to open your arms a little bit wider, maybe coming into a more relaxed version of Sphinx. That last one was a lot into the back. Maybe you even come into alligator instead, placing your hands on your forehead and just relaxing your shoulders away. However, if you feel like you need even more of a stretch, think about walking those elbows forward a little bit instead of out to the side to feel it even more into that lower back. That actually feels delightful. Find something that works for you for 1 more minute. Then I'm going to give you an option to switch it up a little to come into a quad stretch while we're here on our belly. So find 1 more minute in your Sphinx. All right, you can continue to hang out in Sphinx or be just relaxed in Alligator for 2 more minutes, or we're gonna bring a a quad stretch to the party. So reaching your hand back to just grab hold of the top of your foot on one side and bringing your heel closer towards your glute. This is an opportunity also that maybe you're using your strap. Keeping the thigh down towards the floor, stretching through your knee. Oh my gosh, that feels amazing. And that way you can take any extra stress out of your shoulders if you have a strap. And if not, you're just reaching that hand behind you and finding what feels good, just relaxing. A couple more breaths. And let's change. Let's carefully do the same thing on the opposite side. So to really get that stretch into your quad, you're not just hanging out here with the strap on top of your foot. You're squeezing your glutes and then stretching through your knee. An imaginary stretch almost towards the end of the mat. It's going to bring the stretch onto the front of your thigh. Just a couple more breaths here. Last little bit on our bellies. All right, carefully release your strap. Take your time, either roll over, press yourself up. We're going to come into a reclined butterfly. I'm going to press myself up. One more opportunity for a stretch of that belly. And then turn over, wow, onto the back. You might want to use some props if you feel like your hips are still extra super tight and it's challenging for you to get the outside of your thighs, your knees to the floor. You can always place a block underneath the outside of your legs. This is yin, so the whole point is to relax as much as possible. So even if you feel really open and you have those props nearby, use them. Relax your lower back more towards the floor. If you're still feeling really tight, think about bringing your feet a little further from the center line of your body. We're going to spend 2 minutes here in this reclined butterfly. You can relax your arms however feels right for you. Maybe a little extra goalpost arms. Maybe one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Come back to your slow breath, starting to wind today's practice down. Melt the back of your head and shoulders. Your upper back, your glutes. The backs of your arms down into the mat as much as you can. Stretch gently through the crown of your head. Bring the back of your neck to relax on your mat as much as possible. Make sure you're not creating any extra stretches through the neck by pulling the chin up towards the ceiling. let's go ahead and finish with a spine twist before we come into final Savasana. So go ahead, extend your arms out to the side as much as you need to. You might want to take your block and even place it between your legs as you roll over onto the side to help you stack those hips as much as possible. Work to get both of those shoulders on the floor, and if you want that extra stretch through your neck, turn and twist, look in the opposite direction of your knees. Spend 1 minute right here. All right, let's carefully release back through center. Take a moment, grounding with that back on the mat, feet on the floor. And then use your inhale to lift yourself up and roll to the opposite side. Find the spine twist that feels best for you. Let's spend 1 more minute right here. On your next exhale, come onto your back 1 more time. Go ahead, extend your legs out. You can keep a slight bend in your knees if you need to, if that's what makes your back feel best today, but we're making our way into our final Savasana. We've got 3 minutes to spend here together. It scared me. I encourage you to stay as long in your final Savasana as you can. 3 minutes is a great start. If you have 5 minutes, 8 minutes, just to treat yourself a little bit more to the stillness, to the breath. All you have to do here is breathe and not move. But bring to this posture the same attention and focus as you brought to all of the other active stretches that we created today. Last opportunity together to do that total body scan from your head to your toes and then back up. Just notice if you feel any different than when we started class today. Does your breath feel easier? Does your mind feel lighter? Does your body feel more open? Maybe all of the above, maybe none. Hopefully a little bit of something. No matter what, I hope you're proud of yourself for coming, for taking this time, for creating the physical space for your mental health and physical health as well. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I've said or we did today, I hope that you will reach out, and also that I will see you all again soon. If you happen to be on campus, please do stop down, say hello, visit the fitness center, enjoy the space. Until we meet again, think good thoughts, eat good foods, speak good words, and do good deeds. Nourish yourself from the inside out. I leave you here on the floor to treat yourself to a little bit more time in your final Savasana, focusing on yourself, because you are worth it. Please know that the light within me honors, sees, is grateful, and endlessly thankful for the light within you. So continue to let it shine. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.